Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cricket Corner podcast with me, Vatsal Vora. And since we are going to talk about Indian cricket once again and the big match against Pakistan, I have collected all my friends yet again. We have Yash, Nachiket, and Twitch joining us for probably the fifth or sixth time on this channel. And whenever we all sit together, it's always a pleasure to talk to them. And we are going to have a long and deep conversation as Team India take on Pakistan in the highly awaited game in the Asia Cup on Saturday. Well, Nachiket, welcome back. Let's start by talking about Team India. We are jumping right into the podcast thing here without any introduction and such because India versus Pakistan doesn't need an introduction. Like we had the Border Gavaskar Trophy earlier in 2023. We had the Ashes, but now it's the time for arguably the biggest rivalry in world cricket.
Yes, so thanks a lot for having all of us back. And
Yeah.
crucial next 3 months have started now. All
Yes.
the experimenting we hope is over, and
Yeah.
the team combination. It is, I guess, the first time that Rohit Sharma is having a full strength team at his disposal. Because Bumrah has been injured for over a year, and we
Yeah.
had injuries here and there. So first of all, it's good to have an entire full strength team. Of course, except Rishabh Pant, who would have been in contention, but
Yes.
a pretty much strong squad, as strong as India would have hoped to have at this point. So it's exciting times ahead, and of course, what better way to start it than an exciting India versus Pakistan clash, a starter for the
Exactly.
World Cup.
Yeah. Exactly. And I think we have had, so as you mentioned, we have had so many experimentations with the squad when we traveled to West Indies and such, and the morale in the team seemed like more not in the team as well, like the surrounding morale on social media amongst fans was quite saddening to see because we are just 3 months away, we are rotating and stuff like that. But Nachiket, sorry, let's talk to Dwij about this. Dwij, we all know that you have been big advocate for KL Rahul, and I'm sure you're happy to see him in the squad. But again, tragedy has struck right before we begin a major tournament, and KL Rahul is set to miss out on a couple of games early on. What are your thoughts? Are you like disappointed, or is it probably the right call to take because he's coming back from an injury? You don't want to rush him as well. So, what are your initial thoughts on KL Rahul missing out?
Yes, I think I'm a huge fan of KL Rahul.
Yes.
I know there are many who wouldn't agree with his selection, but I think it is fair not to risk him with the World Cup also coming up. So
Yeah.
I think India has a reserve keeper in Ishan Kishan who can now he has got a certain amount of experience to handle these tough matches. So it's pretty normal that the management has decided to rest KL Rahul for these two matches.
But then again, Dwich, there would be people who argue that a like for like replacement for someone like KL Rahul would have been Sanju Samson because he's capable of batting in the middle order. He's a right-handed as well. Can probably play in two gears similar to what KL Rahul is expected to play. But unfortunately for Team India, he's amongst the reserves. Do you think it is it is wise to play someone like Ishan Kishan because according to me, there are two caveats when you play someone like Ishan Kishan. You make him open the innings, then you have to put everyone down the order. Like instead of Virat Kohli playing at three, he'll play at four. Instead of playing Shreyas Iyer at four, he'll play at five. But when if you had played someone like Sanju Samson, you have been slotted straight into that number five slot. Do you think that would hamper, or would you see nothing changing and someone like Ishan Kishan would be there at number five?
Yeah, I think 2 points here. Firstly, uh, keeping in mind the World Cup, I think this squad has been selected. I think 10 to 12 players from this squad will directly make the
Yeah.
cut for the World Cup. The
Yes.
fight will be amongst those three places only. And I
Yeah.
think keeping Sanju Samson in reserves for a tournament like this is a very much clear indication that he won't be a part of that 15-man squad for the World Cup. I
Makes
feel
sense.
that. So I think Ishan Kishan is going to be our number two wicket keeper. and KL Rahul will keep wickets for India in the World Cup is what I feel at this point of time. But again, I also remember mentioning in an earlier podcast that I don't mind seeing Ishan Kishan play the role of Rishabh Pant as a pinch hitter
Yes.
or a floater in the 4 or 5 position. So if say India has lost early wickets, then I think the order can be same with Kohli and Shreyas Iyer following up. But if
Yeah.
Gill, Rohit, and Kohli have given a very strong start, I think if 40 overs we are 300 plus, then I think you can use it Ishan Kishan up top at 3 or 4. And I think
Yeah.
we have tried and tested him for multiple series now, and he has made a fair amount of runs also. So I think that now won't be a problem. Initially, I had doubts about him, but I think now he's suitable as a number two.
Yeah, that's quite an interesting point. Well, because we all know for a fact that since there is no Rishabh Pant in the squad, we have had a first team wicket keeping crisis. Yeah, Dvij, go ahead.
Also, one more point I remembered is that we don't have any left-hander except Jadeja in the top batting
Yes.
lineup. So I think that also makes a very valid case to put Ishan Kishan in the team just to maintain that left and right hand combination.
Yes, that's a really good point, which if you had not made, I would have completely forgotten. But Yash, let's give you a chance to speak as well. Well, what are your opinions on this Sanju Samson, Ishan Kishan, KL Rahul scenario? Because one thing which is quite certain in regardless of any format, I know we are stepping aside from Asia Cup. We'll get back into that in a moment, but regardless of the format, the absence of Rishabh Pant has been hampering Team India for quite some time now. Do you think the wicket keeping position is still up for grabs, or do you completely agree with with what Dwit said that when fit, KL Rahul is your first choice wicket keeper?
I think KL Rahul will and always be the first choice, followed by
Yes.
Ishan Kishan. I don't see Sanju Samson making the team. He has not been that much of a great player, to be very honest. I'm being like very
Yeah.
harshly critical, but like given so many chances, like he hasn't been able to play what like
Capitalize
are
on it. Yes.
expected from him. So I
Yeah.
think it's a no-brainer that he won't be making the 15-man squad as well. So
Yeah.
I think it's clearly it should be KL Rahul or Ishan Kishan for the first choice keeper. Also, like it feels bad that KL will be missing the first 2 matches of the tournament as well. But I think it's good for him. We shouldn't rush it and give him some time to recover so that he can be fully fit for the World Cup, because like this is going to be an important one as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
don't want
True.
any of our star players, missing because of a silly injury or anything, or they couldn't
Yeah.
recover on time. So
Yeah. If it's avoidable, then why take the risk? Basically,
correct. You have good
it.
players, you have like players who can fill the gap. So I think he can take as much time as required to recover, and then he can be at his 100% whenever he's needed a month later.
Yeah. Nachiket, we started by talking about KL Rahul, and indirectly we had to talk about his selection in the World Cup squad as well, because that's the main tournament coming up. But let's narrow it down to just the Asia Cup, because we are playing Pakistan and we want, like, let's talk about India versus Pakistan for a moment here. First of all, there are bad news surrounding the game because there are quite a lot of reports stating that the rain could intervene. But let's keep rain aside for a moment. Let's look at the game by saying that we are going to have full 100 overs. What is the one thing you are worried as an Indian fan when you face Pakistan? Is it their brilliant bowling attack? Is it Shaheen Shah Afridi? Is it Haris Rauf, Naseem Shah, and people like that?
Yes, of course. See, they have a bowling attack to be feared since decades now. So that's
Yeah,
of course one factor, as we have also seen that when we've been facing them in recent past, uh, their bowlers have been a big headache for our openers, and that's always a factor. But one thing that concerns me regarding our India's thing is that we are still not having a clear idea of our combinations.
yeah,
Let's say no issue. KL Rahul won't be there for first couple of games, but then you can't just uh, change the order to felicitate Ishan Kishan, because
Yeah.
he should ideally slot in at number 5, because my logic is that you've got your top 4 together after a long time, after a gap of almost 6 months, let's say.
Yeah.
So maybe you should just allow them to play at the positions that we're playing at for the next couple of months.
Yeah.
Slot in Ishan Kishan for a couple of games at number 5. He is a versatile player. Even for Mumbai, as he has batted in the middle order, different formats, of course, but this is just talking about
Yeah.
versatility.
Yes.
And about Pakistan, yes, we need to take our chances. We need to, take our chances, because we have seen Babar Azam can also make it big. Of course, it was
Yeah.
Nepal, but he's a world-class batsman himself.
Exactly.
They
Yeah.
have good batsmen that can capitalize on mistakes of India. We have certainly seen that in the recent matches. So we need to take our chances. We need to have our combination straight. We need to have a clear uh, thought process going on, and select ideal combinations based on the strength of our team and conditions, of course. Because
Uh,
even today's match, we have seen that the ball is gripping. The spinners are
Yeah.
into action. So
Yes.
spinners will be handy. So we need to pick combinations. But another school of thought takes that Pakistanis are also good at playing spin. Babar
Yeah.
Azam is one of the best players in spin.
Best
So
players. Yeah.
India might think of adding another pacer or a spinner. So it will be interesting to see what combination we enter the game with.
Yeah. Dwij, what do you want to add anything to what Nachiket said? We talked about how good their bowling lineup is. Do you think that's the only cause of concern? Do you, we obviously there's Babar Azam in there, Imam ul Haq, Fakhar Zaman, and they're like really good players. Iftikhar is arguably one of the finest lower order batsmen as well, and Shadab Khan is obviously Shadab Khan. What are your opinions of this Pakistan side? Is it safe to say that this is probably one of the strongest Pakistan sides we have seen in a couple of years now? Do you really think that?
Yes, I think they are number one right now in ODIs for a
Yes,
reason
they are.
because they have performed well since the last year consecutively in all the nations that they have played in. And plus, I think their bowling attack has always been top notch since many years. That has always been their strength.
Yeah,
What I would be looking forward to see is how their fielding is this time around because that is always very below standards whenever we see
yeah,
Pakistan. So that always plays to our advantage. But we have seen in our previous encounters in the past couple of years that Pakistan now have got that capability to defeat India even in tense moments. So I think with their batting, I am not much concerned because after so long we have got our full pace attack with the likes of
yes,
Siraj, Bumrah, Shami, and Prasidh Krishna. So you have got a multitude of options to choose from. And I think their batting isn't a concern, but their bowling surely will be. But again, that same attack, if you face in a country like Australia and England, and then now you are facing in the subcontinent, then obviously
yeah.
that wouldn't be that lethal.
Yeah, that is true. Now, Yash, before I get to you, I wanted to quickly discuss this point with Nachiket as well, because Twitch made a really good point stating that the Pakistan bowling is much more superior than Pakistan batting. Nachiket, do you think there is a possibility that Pakistan are too heavily reliant on their bowling in such big matches? Let's keep that Nepal game aside because that was probably one of the most one-sided games you will ever see, but do you think in these big games when Pakistan play someone like India, Sri Lanka in the Asia Cup, or they are playing someone like Australia, England, New Zealand in the World Cup, do you think they will be too over reliant on their bowling and because their batting is kind of, I wouldn't say weak, but if you if you discount the likes of Babar Azam, Imamul Haq, there's not much batting there. Do you think that can possibly be one of the weakness that Team India could exploit, like get their batsmen out early, bowl them out for a cheap score, and then probably negotiate their bowling early on, and then probably take down the spinners and stuff like that? Do you think there's a possibility that about that happening?
It's absolutely important that whether we bat first or bat second, that we take early wickets because their openers are
Yeah,
also good, followed by Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan.
he's
Even
one. Yeah,
uh, this guy got a century last
Iftikhar.
night against Nepal, Iftikhar, right? So, and even Shadab Khan is chipping in with some good
Yeah,
contributions. They bat deep, they bat well. So, but of course, it's common knowledge that they are a bowling heavy team. So it's a world class attack that they rely on. Be it the first inning or the second inning, they're always coming in with their contributions. They have done what's expected with them.
yeah,
One positive for India is that Pakistan have Shaheen Afridi in a bit of a dicey form, but a game against India in a tournament like this might fire him up.
yeah,
And Indians have been preparing for that challenge in the camp that they're having right now. But of course, there's a vast bit of difference between any left-handed Indian bowler right now and Shaheen Afridi. So they have, if we
yeah.
negate Shaheen Afridi, there are a couple of others to give a headache too. So of course, we have to take care of the first 10-15 overs, score, but keep wickets in hand because we have players that can,
Yeah.
capitalize in the latter overs.
Yash, let's just talk about the Pakistan bowling for one last time, and I wanted your opinions on that as well. We have seen the likes of Rohit Sharma and Shubman Gill struggle during the early stages of their innings. Once they are out of that, they take time to get settled in. If I'm not wrong, they take a couple of overs here and there. Do you worry that those couple of overs could be their demise in the end? Because there has been a very good record of Shaheen Shah Afridi picking up wickets in the very first over or in his very first spell. Do you slightly worry, or do you think our batters are capable enough to navigate around, sorry, navigate around someone like Shaheen Shah Afridi or Haris Rauf and then propel and play the natural innings?
I still get nightmares like after watching those matches where we got demolished by Pakistan. So I think as per the current form and
2017 Champions Trophy.
Champions Trophy, then we have the
Yeah,
2021 as well, where we
yeah,
lost
yeah, yeah,
by
yeah,
10 wickets.
yeah.
So I think like we have enough we know how they
Strength,
work,
yeah,
how they bowl, and like we know their weaknesses. And like this team, they also know like where they can capitalize in what way, whatever. And it also will give us insights on how well we are prepared for the big tournament.
yeah,
So I don't think we should see them struggling. Instead, it should be, very easy for them to, score a couple of runs. And Shubman Gill being Shubman Gill, I hope he has a very great tournament because
yeah,
like he can become a very good regular opener for the Indian cricket team.
yeah.
He has had a few bad innings here and there, but I have high hopes from him because I think he is the missing piece in what I think Rohit Sharma needs to
Yes.
stabilize the
Someone
inning,
like someone
get
like
that
Shikhar
switch
Dhawan.
around.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Someone like Shikhar Dhawan to
So
complement his attacking style of play and support him for these longer partnerships here and there. I think Dwij will be joining us soon, but let's carry on this conversation. And I think we
and
talked. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
And like we all know how good Rohit Sharma gets once he's in that tournament flow and in that
Yeah,
mentality. And he already has mentioned a couple of times that I would like to go back on the mindset, the preparation which I had before the 2019 World Cup.
Teen World Cup.
And we
Yeah,
all know like if he is in that comfort zone, it's just very difficult to get him out on any pitch, any weather, any bowling attack. And he'll just,
yeah.
get you those quick 100, 150 runs. So I hope he has a great tournament as well.
Well, I think Rohit Sharma and Shubman Gill are likely to open, as we have like talked about it for so many times now. Virat Kohli will be at 3, Shreyas Iyer is expected to be at 4 with Ishan Kishan at 5. I think the top 5 is kind of settled with, let's say, someone like Hardik Pandya coming in at number 6. But which the main talking point about Team India and the team selection begins with number 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. What, according to you, should be the composition of our bowling attack? Because we already have someone like Hardik Pandya who can chip in with 7, 8 overs. We obviously will be having someone like Ravindra Jadeja at number 7. So it's basically 8, 9, 10, and 11 out of 4. Would you go with 2 spinners, 2 fast bowlers, 3 fast bowlers, 1 spinner? what do you think is the ideal team composition, regardless of the conditions, keeping the conditions aside?
Yeah, I think keeping in mind that Pandey and Jadeja will play at 6 and 7,
Yes.
so the remaining four positions I'll play Kuldeep Yadav. Considering we are
Yeah.
playing the subcontinent, he will be my second spinner, and then my three
Yes.
pacers would be Siraj, Shami, and Bumrah. And Prasidh Krishna will be unfortunately missing out. But then again, if this was some other country like outside the subcontinent, then I would have started Prasidh Krishna. But in
Yeah.
India or Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Kuldeep Yadav will have an edge.
But then there is also an argument which can be made, is that instead of playing all three of Shami, Siraj, and Bumrah, you can X someone like, let's say, Siraj, and play and play a batting, give an option which gives you something with the bat, like someone like Shardul Thakur, or you can give a chance to someone like Akshar Patel. Do you think that is also a possibility that can happen?
I think if India doesn't go with five proper bowlers, then personally I would like to. This might sound unorthodox, but personally I would like to chip in Tilak Verma in the side, because he
Yes.
also can give a few overs if part time is the required thing.
Yeah.
Then again, it will not only give you a proper top order batsman, but again he also can act like that left-hander floater like Rishabh Pant.
Yes.
So
Yes.
again, everything, all of this wouldn't have been an issue if Pant would have been there. But
Yeah.
since he's not there, that is why I'm getting a bit more inclined towards playing at least one or two left-handers with Jadeja in the side.
Yeah. That is a really valid point. Nachiket, what are your thoughts on the same? Do you see uh, someone like Shardul Thakur or Akshar Patel being in the starting 11, or do you agree with Vij and say, let's just go for it? If they are going to play with sheer pace, then why not us? Let's go with all three of Bumrah, Siraj, and Shami. Do you think it will be like fire versus fire kind of an encounter, or do you think India will slightly take on a rational thought and go with someone like Akshar Patel or Shardul Thakur in their side?
You really can't predict anything with this setup that India is
Exactly,
having.
exactly. That's why it's a
So,
good
but
talking point.
yeah. Because 10 years ago, let's say 5 to 6 years ago, if you'd asked, Dhoni would of course go with three spinners. That's what his trend
Exactly.
was. Right
Yeah.
now, looking at the conditions, India might go with three spinners, Akshar Patel, Jadeja, and Kuldeep Yadav. That's the three spinners that they have. Mohammad Shami and Bumrah being the two pacers, and Hardik Pandya being the third seamer. So there are six bowling options, which is a must. I think that they'll go with this one, and it's imperative. It's imperative that we go in with a good pace attack. Ideally, India
Yeah.
would like to have an attack of Siraj, Shami, Bumrah. It's world class. It's
Exactly.
compete. They can compete with Pakistan in that. India
Exactly.
would slightly edge them, but the thing is that how do you balance it out? Because you'll have to play Kuldeep Yadav, because Akshar and Jadeja playing together does not make much sense
Exactly.
according to me. And this is the first time in years that I'm not having much confidence in India's spin, because I'm, there are two all-rounders who are similar, absolutely similar, and
Exactly.
Kuldeep
Yeah.
is very unpredictable. Either he
Yeah.
can be prime Shane Warne or then a Malinga Bandara. So you never know what version of Kuldeep is going to get in. So first
When
time in many years, I'm not very confident about our spin, but they've gone in with them, and it's absolutely important they do well.
when we started recording this podcast, I was not expecting Malinga Bhandara's to be Bhandara's name to pop up in the podcast, but it's a very good point which Nachiket made. And Yash, what are your opinions on leaving someone like Yuzvendra Chahal? Because as Nachiket said, there's someone like Ravindra Jadeja and Akshar Patel, pretty similar kind of players, not only with the ball, but with the bat as well. Both of them left-handed. Both of them can play in attacking style of play. Kuldeep Yadav has his off days here and there. Do you think someone like Yuzvendra Chahal will be a huge miss? Because we have seen him bowl those tricky overs, not only in the Indian colors, but he bowls those overs really well in the IPL as well for Rajasthan Royals as well. So do you think he'll be a miss, or do you think it's a calculated gamble which India have taken to drop someone like him and pick, let's say, Someone like Shardul Thakur or Akshar Patel, to be honest. What are your opinions on that?
I
Because
think it's a
because
big
yeah,
gamble. Simple as that. Like he is a very good player. Should have made the playing 11 or at least the 15.
15 man
And
squad. Yeah,
like I still don't understand like why are BCCI still doing the trial and error thing with different players. Like
yeah.
who
But
are
but
no
then
doubts they
again,
are good players, but
sorry
I
to
think
cut
a
you
man.
out here. Sorry to
Mm.
cut you out here, but I don't think it's a trial and error thing anymore because if Yuzvendra Chahal is not in the squad, it is implied that he might not be, or not might, he will not be in the World Cup squad as well.
He's going to be like he's one of those crucial players who can get those quick wicket as well. Of course, at a loss of giving sometimes a lot many runs, but I think I would prefer him over Akshar Patel or maybe Shardul Thakur as well.
Yeah. Nachiket, what are your opinions on Chahal not being around?
I'd ideally want Chahal and Kuldeep operating together,
Ex-
but
exactly, yes.
that's not possible as we do not have someone like Bhuvneshwar Kumar, who is a premium quick player, quick bowler, and a dependable player with the bat.
Bat as
So
well,
an
yeah.
ideal scenario for me would be Chahal and Ashwin. Both of them are not in the squad, but that would have been my preferred duo because Ashwin offers that balance at number 8. His experience is invaluable to any team he plays for, India or any franchise he plays for. But it's a harsh exclusion that Yuzvendra Chahal has had to face. And if these spinners do not fire, if Kuldeep has a Asia Cup that
Off day, yeah.
is doubt into the management, the captain and the selector has told that they might even rope in another player that is not in the current squad. They have told in the press conference, but the deadline being 5th September, they'll only have one game to look out for. So they may
Yeah.
not judge the entire squad based on a single match. So it's pretty much doors closed. I think that do we have to submit a provisional squad on September 5th and the final by the end of the month, or
Yeah. So the provisional
this is the
squad has to
final
be
thing we are
submitted.
submitting?
The provisional squad is on the 5th, and the final squad is on the 28th of September.
Right. So India might make changes if something goes
Yeah.
horribly wrong, but it should not be the case. If you have trusted these
Yeah.
17 guys, then just go with them.
Exactly. I think when India announced their squad for the Asia Cup, I recorded a podcast, and if you want, I'll link it below in the description box. I did mention that out of the 17 players named, you have to name a 15-man squad, and two players who I personally feel will drop out is Prasidh Krishna and Tilak Verma, because when you have someone like Bumrah, Siraj, Shami, plus you have Hardik Pandya and Shardul Thakur, you don't need an extra seamer in the form of Prasidh Krishna. And in middle order as well, there's Surya Kumar Yadav, who is not we haven't talked about him at all because you don't expect him to play in one-day internationals that frequently like he does in the T20 format. There's obviously the return of KL Rahul and Shreyas Iyer as well. So I see Tilak Verma. I think it's I think it's right that he's in the squad to give him that exposure if needed. You can play him in the game against Nepal if you want, and even in the assuming India will be making into the last four, you can also play him against the likes of Bangladesh as well. But which let's come to you for the concluding part of this podcast, and let's get back and talk about the India Pakistan scene. I think asking for predictions is nonsense because we all want India to win. But do you have any other predictions you want to make before we wrap things up?
No, I think Asia Cup, pretty much these two sides, one of them is going to win.
Yeah,
And I think Pakistan has a slight upper hand considering they are playing some of their matches at home conditions where
yes,
their spinners as well as their pacers know how to bowl and their batsmen are also quite familiar. Plus, I don't think any other team right now are close in strength, matching the strengths of what India and Pakistan have
makes
in
sense.
both in
Yeah,
terms as a team as well as individually. So I think it's a no-brainer for me. Either India or Pakistan will win.
you mean the Asia Cup, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nachiket, what about you? Do you think my question to you is: do you think we should take Asia Cup and the World Cup separately? because I personally, for me, I don't want to see this being like a stepping stone for the World Cup. Let's get player in back in form. Let's give them some opportunities here and there. I personally want to win the Asia Cup as well, and not see this like footballers see preseason friendly kind of a tournament. I don't want to see that happening. What are your opinions on the same? Because for the fact, I know that we are professional enough to, and we want to win all the games, but as a fan personally, I want to see us win the Asia Cup as well and the World Cup.
Of course,
Yeah.
this is one of the most prestigious tournaments in world cricket, the Asia Cup.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that India will take it a bit lightly. They'll of course play with full intensity. This
Yeah.
is a chance for some of the players to earn and seal their spot in the 11. There are still
Exactly.
a couple of places here and there that are still up for grabs. So it's an opportunity for them to seal that. It's an opportunity for someone like Rohit Sharma to get back in form. It's an opportunity for the top order, middle order to fire, for someone like Shreyas Iyer to get the rhythm back. He's back after almost 6 months. And also the bowlers, Bumrah, to get the confidence back. He's playing an
Yeah.
ODI after God knows how many months.
Almost a
So
year, to be
it's
honest. Yeah.
Shami has been in action last in the IPL, so it's a comeback for him too. It
Yeah.
will really be a toss up between Siraj and Shami who makes the cut. So
Yeah.
uh, he, any of them who gets the chance to play will be on their toes because the other one is as good as the other one. So it's a great tournament to play in, great tournament to perform for the uh, World Cup. It does not get better. So I think that India will be taking it seriously and we'll see some good cricket by all the teams.
Yeah. Yash, and finally, let's talk about. We haven't mentioned Virat Kohli at all in this podcast, and we are almost towards the end now. But how excited are you as a fan to see a full strength side with with Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma in there? Because I don't think we, in limited format at least, I don't think we have been full strength since the IPL. I think the last time we were semi full strength was in that ODI series against Australia, which we played right like a couple of weeks before the IPL. And since the IPL, we have been playing rotated sides here, there, everywhere. And so, yeah, how excited are you see of are you like you want to see like Virat Kohli in full action against probably his favorite opposition as well?
Yeah, like haven't seen good cricket after that disappointing WTC finals as well.
Yeah,
So I think I'm pretty much excited for this Asia Cup tournament. Always liking to see what Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli bring to the table.
yeah,
Incredible players, top form. And Virat Kohli, as you know, he is not only our fan favorite, like he's known for his innings and battings and his style all over the
yes,
world. Oppositions are a fan of him. I came across an interview from Babar Azam who was mentioning how like he had his little fanboy moment when he was asking him questions. So like it's always a joy to watch Kohli play and hope like I would love to see him, pick up that Asia Cup trophy followed by the World Cup trophy end of
yeah.
the
I
year.
think that
Like that would
yeah,
be a perfect fairy tale ending for him as similar
yeah.
to what we got for
That's
Messi in
that's
last
like
December.
that's like the dream scenario. Win the Asia Cup, do well in the Australia series. Yeah, don't forget there's an Australia One Day series as well, sandwiched between the World Cup and the Asia Cup. And obviously, we want to win the World Cup as well. But for the time being, we leave things here. We talked about Pakistan cricket. We obviously talk about India and their wicket keeping scenario, their bowling setup, and the top order. But I want to end by saying that India versus Pakistan is a game which can make players. We have seen Virat Kohli make that 183. We have seen so many on so many instances that when the world watches an India Pakistan game and you perform, you are elevated to another level. And I hope one of the 11 players, if not all 11 players, can elevate themselves and take India to victory. But yeah, that is it for this preview. We'll be back once India possibly defeats Pakistan by 150 runs or the rain washes out the game and our mood. But only time will say. Thanks to Yash, Nachiket, and Dwij. It was always a pleasure having you, and I'm sure there are going to be so many episodes talking about Indian cricket as we head into the World Cup. However, yeah, for the time being, three of us and me, Vatsal, like 4 of us signing off. Ciao for now.